Good evening, you're watching India First. I'm Gaurav Sawant. New Delhi is closely watching developments along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. In response to a question, Ranveer Jaiswal, the additional secretary and spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, said, "We are closely monitoring the situation. Three things are clear. One, that Pakistan hosts terrorist organizations and sponsors terrorist activities. Two, it is an old practice of Pakistan to blame its neighbors for its internal failures. And three, Pakistan is infuriated with Afghanistan exercising sovereignty over its own territories. India remains fully committed to the sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence of Afghanistan." Unquote. Amidst this crisis along the AFPAC border, what the Afghans describe as the artificial Durand line, jailed former Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has sought parole to broker peace between Pakistan and Taliban. Imran Khan is also known as Taliban Khan, and according to media reports in Pakistan, he told his sisters during a jail visit that if he is granted parole, he will speak to the Taliban for peace. But is that really possible? Field Marshal Asim Munir and Imran Khan, they literally hate each other. Can they join hands for peace in Pakistan? Is that possible? Joining me on India First to help us understand these developments, Lieutenant General K.J.S. Dhillon, former Director General of Defence Intelligence Agency. General Dhillon also commanded the Kashmir Corps. Tilak Devashar, former Special Secretary, Cabinet Secretariat, was a part of the Research and Analysis Wing and the author of several books on Pakistan. And Dr. Tara Kartha, former Director at the National Security Council Secretariat. Tilak Devashar, I want to begin by asking you, sir, Pakistani media is gagged, but there are digital platforms in Pakistan that are reporting anything between 180 to 200 tehreek-e-labbaik workers killed in Muridke and Lahore protests. And that's a huge number. If TLP, whatever TLP is claiming is true, is Pakistan, what we hear, it's moving to ban TLP. Can the Pakistani security forces get away with a massacre of close to 200 Pakistani Punjabi Muslims? And do you see this connection between what's happening with the TLP in Lahore and what's happening at the AFPAC border?
Thank you, Gaurav, for having me on the show. And good evening to all the fellow panelists. You see, I have heard that it's close to 280 TLP people who have been massacred in Muridke and in different parts of Punjab. Now, this is a very surprising turnaround, because the TLP has been an establishment party, and the establishment has used the TLP when they wanted, for example, to cut down Nawaz Sharif's strength in 2018 elections, or to put Imran Khan in his place when he was Prime Minister. So they have acted on behalf of the establishment. Today, the establishment to turn around to massacre them in this manner, and even the leader Saad Rizvi, who has been injured apparently, he has been disappeared. Nobody knows where he is. So this is a very surprising turnaround. And the only thing I can think why this has happened is that they want to, or Asim Munir wants to prove his loyalty to the US, because they had threatening to march to the US embassy protesting against the Palestinian peace deal. The thing is not fair to Palestine, and the apprehension that Pakistan may be in the process of recognizing Israel. So for them, it's a red flag. But for Asim Munir to prove his loyalty to the US, this must have done. As far as their linkage to the TTP is concerned, the TTP has come out with a statement, protesting against the killing of fellow Muslims in Pakistan, exercising, telling them to exercise restraint, and, taking up cudgels on behalf of the TLP. Now, whether this is a real connection or the the Taliban are playing with taking use of what's happening in Pakistan, I don't know. I haven't come across any TTP-TLP connections, but Taliban has certainly come out with a statement in favor of the TLP.
General Dhillon, some of the images on social media are horrifying. What's happening in Pakistan's Punjab province. Tehreek-e-labbaik was seen as a proxy, as Mr. Tilak Devashar just described, of the Pakistan army to bring civilian leadership to heel. Has Field Marshal Asim Munir turned against Labbaik? Will this have consequences for Pakistan's Punjab province, or has the Pakistan army successfully crushed the TLP? Is Maryam Nawaz on board, and is this being done to please the Americans?
Good evening, viewers, and good evening, Gaurav, and good evening to the fellow panelists. I totally agree with Mr. Tilak Deveswar that TLP is a proxy of the deep state. It is just that in this particular incident, the proxy has gone rogue. And the reason for proxy going rogue is, starting with Ziaul Haq's time, the way the public in Pakistan has been fed on the religion and anti-Jews, anti-Hindu sentiments. Suddenly, when the Palestine Peace Accord was signed and the Prime Minister of Pakistan was there, the understanding is there will be a state of Palestine and there will be a state of Israel and they will coexist. That, in a nutshell, means Pakistan accepts the state of Israel as a nation. Now, that is not acceptable to the 50 years of propaganda against Israelis. Now, that is where the TLP cadre are feeling cheated. And this is where the divorce happened. And then the typical Pakistan army brutalities, close to about 280, 230, 290 civilians getting killed in cold blood. It is just that the media gag is there today. Otherwise, people have made videos. The videos are circulating within the friend circle. But moment the media gag is over, a lot will come out of this TLP moment. And as has already been told, Taliban has already spotted it. And TTP, of course, has no alignment with TLP because TLP is seen as a deep state proxy. But what is happening inside Pakistan is another front, and what's happening on AFPAC border, that has its own background and own ramifications.
You know, I'll come to Pakistan burning on multiple fronts in just a moment. Dr. Tara Labbaik was opposing Pakistan's support to US President Donald Trump's 20-point agenda on Israel and Gaza. Pakistan TV was not showing Labbaik protests, but Trump and Netanyahu live from Israel's parliament. Is that a signal that Field Marshal Asim Munir and Shahbaz Sharif are sending both to the US and to the radicals in Pakistan that they are with Donald Trump, and those opposing Donald Trump's agenda, whether it's in Afghanistan or it's in Gaza, they'll be crushed like the Labbaik?
I'm not sure about that because like the previous panelist said, this is a state party, right? It has always been. But if you recall, earlier when this step's father, Khadim Rizvi, got a bit above himself, he thought he was the greatest guy going, they just quietly bumped him off. So they have no compunctions about bumping off any of these guys if it doesn't suit their agenda. But the thing is, for Pakistan to recognize Israel at this point of time, even 10 years ago when Gaza violence was not there, it would have been difficult. For them to do it now is really, really asking for trouble, which is why the Punjab police was asking the TLP guys, he says, why are you protesting now? When Gaza is, celebrating the end of war, why on earth are you protesting? So this to me seems a manufactured protest, and they do like TLP has done before, which has got out of hand. It is not easy to control a crowd. Once a crowd builds up, it can do pretty anything, and well, maybe a lot of other elements also join in. There's one more factor. This is firing by the Punjab police. There is a lot of difference. The Punjab police in the past, and I've known some of the people there, they have complained heavily on Pakistan interference in this thing, saying we don't do this to us. We can't control these people. So that divide is also something you need to watch.
Okay, but is this fire going to burn Pakistan both within, in Pakistan's Punjab province, in Lahore, in Muridke? I mean, that's the heart of Pakistan. If 200 people have been massacred by the police, will it have ramifications? You may crush information now, Mr. Deveshir, but it will come out ultimately. And Taliban and Pakistan, they were seen as brothers at one point of time. Suddenly, when Donald Trump wants the Bagram Air Base, Field Marshal Asim Munir is seen as stabbing the Taliban in the back and in the chest. So is that another signal that Asim Munir is sending out? He is being seen as Donald Trump's hitman, as his gun for hire.
Certainly, you see, let's not forget, 65% of the population of Pakistan is Barelvi. And this is what the TLP is. And their strength is in all the shrines, like Dada Darbar and all over Pakistan. You can suppress this for 2 days, 3 days, a week, even a month. But after that, when the stories come out, and the Barelvi and the TLP, even if it is banned, will get organized and will come out on the streets. 65% of the population, this is where the core strength of the PMLN is. You will not be able to suppress this. And if the Punjab police thinks they've done a damn good thing in shooting down 280 or 300 people, the backlash of this will, Punjab so far had been quiet. There was a problem in Balochistan, there was a problem in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, there was a problem in Kashmir, POJK. But now they have created this problem in Punjab. Punjab, as you all know, is a heartland. And by creating the problem in Punjab, and it's not going to go out very easily, this will linger. The embers of this are going to linger for a long time to come.
But Mr. Deveshwar, before I bring in General Dhillon, I want to understand from you. You're saying TLP, tehreek-e-labbaik, though a radical Islamist organization, was predominantly seen as supporters of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. And Maryam Nawaz is the chief minister. Would she have been on board this massacre that took place of her cadre, of her supporters?
You see, the link between the Barelvi shrines and the Muslim League Nawaz broke at a time when Nawaz Sharif, when he was Prime Minister, ordered the hanging of the guard who killed Governor Salman Taseer.
Salman Taseer, yes.
So Nawaz Sharif was the Prime Minister at that time, and he implemented the Supreme Court decision. He lost a lot of support. And then in the 2018 elections, the army made sure that the TLP came to the fore. It was registered as a political party and what became the fourth largest party. It got 2.2 lakh votes. So that is the time the break of the Barelvi groups with the PMLN took place. Today, Maryam has no support.
Yeah.
So for her, she is following the instructions of what Asim Munir would have told her. She is trying to prove her loyalty. She thinks that her continuation as Chief Minister and subsequently becoming Prime Minister is dependent on following whatever Asim Munir tells her to do. So she is playing a very short-term tactical game.
Yes. Yes. General Dhillon, will this escalate into a wider attack? I'm coming back to what's happening at the AFPAC border. There have been some skirmishes. Now there's a ceasefire in place, brokered by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. But will it escalate into a wider attack on Taliban in Afghanistan? Is Field Marshal Asim Munir building up to a regime change in Afghanistan? Because there were some reports that seem to indicate that Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists are moving into Afghanistan along with Islamic State Khorasan, ISKP. They're joining hands with Pakistan's ISI in an effort to take out Taliban's leadership.
Gaurav, first of all, we have to understand why Pakistan is in a state which it is in today on AFPAC border. See, when let's go back into history a little, starting with the Najibullah regime, and then came the Soviets. When the Soviets came, the Americans came in to resist the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. Pakistan sided with Americans. And then came up the Taliban and Gulbuddin Hikmatyars and all those people. When Americans left, Pakistan aligned with Taliban. Now, when 9/11 happened and Americans came back again under the umbrella of war on terror, Pakistan left Taliban and aligned with USA. Now, when on 15th August 2021, when Americans left again, Pakistan left USA and aligned with Taliban again. And now when Trump wants Bagram Air Base back, so Pakistan is again aligning back with the USA. So Afghans are very clear that Pakistans are not permanent allies, Pakistanis. So therefore, they now know the game. Okay, historically, Pakistan only aligns with someone who comes to, do some nonsense inside Afghanistan. So this time they are very careful. And they have also changed the tag of being Talibanist and all those things. They're now wanting to work in a diplomatic environment the way it is seen across the world. And you've seen their
Okay.
foreign minister inside India for 6 days, even when the war was going on their borders. Now that is the outreach they're having to the world today. And now coming back to your question, will it continue or not? Now the point is, Pakistan thought they will be able to, blackmail Taliban into giving up Bagram Air Base, and that's how the air strikes happened. And what Taliban did was they converted the air warfare to guerrilla warfare, which is their strength, and attack their border outposts, which are not mutually supporting, which are not very well manned, there are no officers there, and they're distant from each other. And they created casualties for Pakistan military, the frontier force and all. And now, if Pakistan wants to reinforce the failure of hitting Taliban again, then this will escalate. And the problem with Asim Munir is he probably assured the US that Taliban is not an issue at all. We will look after them. Bagram will come to you. You come to KPK, you come to Balochistan, and you do the mining of rare earth minerals. We will ensure safety. The Chinese have not felt safe in this area. And after this incident, Americans are definitely not going to feel safe trying to mine the rare earth minerals. And Bagram, now Americans also know Afghanistan very well. Now after this incident, that assurance of Asim Munir to USA, I think it's taken a big, big hit. And it's now for everyone to watch how Asim Munir's next move will be. Whether he reinforces the failure or he comes down to the negotiation table through Imran Khan or through some other mediatory, even like Qatar and Saudis. There are options.
Okay.
So let's see how it goes.
If lives have been lost, Dr. Tarak Artha, and especially lives of children in Afghanistan, if Kabul and Kandahar have been bombed, will this ceasefire work? Because Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif, he's also not very sure if this ceasefire may work or collapse. In fact, he's called Taliban India's proxy. Does this kind of show complete breakdown between Pakistan and the Taliban?
I think it does, because, I mean, on principle, for a defense minister to say such a thing is well, it's a very significant aspect. But the trouble is, Khwaja Asif is not the most, what shall I say, the most amazing minister going around at the moment in Pakistan or anywhere else. So he says all sorts of things. But this tendency to blame everybody, we've seen it for years, right? Particularly, they blame the US. Oh, because of you, we are in this grief now. Conveniently forgetting that it was a Pakistan ISI decision to fund the most extreme groups. That was not the CIA. That was the Pakistan extreme. So they blame everybody. Number two is whether the ceasefire will hold. I also have doubts, because the Afghans are not ones to forget. These people have gone out and killed their children. They've bombed a school.
Yes.
I mean, apart from running over their own citizens in Punjab, which is horrifying, this kind of thing is not something you can do to Afghanistan and get away with.
Yeah. And Mr. Deveshwar, how do you see Imran Khan's offer to mediate between Pakistan and Afghanistan, his relationship with Asim Munir? Is this like a very desperate gamble to get out of jail free, or will Asim Munir be desperate enough even to take this?
No, certainly I'm sure Imran Khan, would have the best of intentions. But again, he feels he's the one who can do it. I don't think Asim Munir will allow him to go out of jail and to negotiate, because then Imran Khan will get all the credit. And that's the last thing he can do, he can afford to do, is to enhance the popularity of Imran Khan. So even though Imran Khan may be able to, but the problem between Afghanistan and Pakistan is structural. It is not a question of personalities. What is it that Imran Khan can bring to the table except talking, whatever, but he can't change the basic structural problems between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan is convinced that Afghanistan is sheltering the TTP, and the TTP is bleeding Pakistan army. Afghanistan is convinced that Pakistan is supporting the ISKP, who in turn is attacking the Taliban. So where is the meeting ground? There is no meeting ground. And the Taliban don't trust Pakistan at all. You remember Mullah Zaif's book, My Life with the Taliban, when he says, this is the only people which have two tongues in one mouth. With one tongue they speak
Yes.
one thing, and with the other tongue they speak something else. So they don't trust the Pakistanis at all. And I think when the foreign minister was here, he made a very significant statement. He says we have 6 neighbors. We have a problem only with one. How come we don't have a problem with all the others? If we were so bad, if we were fomenting terrorism, how come the other 5 are peaceful and happy with us? And we have a problem only with Pakistan. And I think Pakistan needs to introspect that out of the 4 neighbors that it has a problem with 3. And an active problem with 2. So there is something wrong with
and you're right.
Pakistan.